Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Mega Reed here. I'm coming at you guys with a bit of a late toy review. And by late, I mean it's like 10 in the evening right now, my time. I probably should be sleeping, but you know what? Instead of sleeping, we're gonna do a quick toy review because why not? It's nighttime. We kind of have this peaceful ambiance going on with the stars outside, and I thought, you know what? I think now would be a great time to actually do a toy review. I don't do these fairly often, but why not, right? So today we're going to be doing a review of Beyblade Burst Surge Slingshot plus Hypersphere Dual Pack. This time it is starring Hercules H4 from Turbo Slingshot, aka Cho-Z, and from Hypersphere, also known as Gatinko or GT in the Japanese release of this, anyway. What was the actual name for this one? Let's see, Rise, there we go, there's Rise, there we go. And Shield Kraken K5, defense type right there. So spinning the box around here, which let me go ahead and do that, with the fancy schmancy turning pad here. Back of the box, we do have the bays listed out there with Shield Kraken K5 on the left and Hercules H4 on the right, which we do have the chip, we do have the layer base, we do have the the forge disc, and then we have the Hypersphere driver right there. And then for Hercules H4, we do get the layer, we get the forge disc, and we get the slingshot driver. With, of course, all the stats and goodies over here, which, again, as I keep telling you guys, don't read them because they mean nothing. Moving the box out of the way and readjusting the camera. Readjusting the camera. Let's get to look at the actual products that are actually going to go in terms of the way they are packaged from left to right, which is going to mean we're going to start off with the Hercules first. So let's get right into him, starting off with the layer, which is Hercules H4. And this is very, very nice, I will say. Arch Hercules, not a bad looking part by any stretch of the imagination, as you guys can see, with this really cool looking gold, brown, blue, sort of this pearly white, red, and this sort of purplish blue with the yellow eyes. Looks very, very, very distinct. Definitely quite the wacky color scheme with this one. And of course, just like most, not all, but most of the Turbo Slingshot Beyblades, which for some reason they never listed this on the box, it actually does have the gimmick from the Takara version, Arch Hercules, where you pull the the little bows out, and this will create the stamina mode, I guess, the stamina wings. So there you go. And again, in theory, when these come out like that, they are supposed to give it increased stamina and increased spin time, which it actually does do. And of course, it does it even more effectively on the Japanese release because the bow parts of the layer would actually be die-cast metal, which would further bolster this stamina wing gimmick. And with the Hasbro version, it doesn't work all that well, but it works a little bit. And so for quick comparisons, we're going to start off with the original release of Hercules right there, with Hercules H4, aka Arch Hercules, the original release. And you can see the clear differences between both layers right there. So getting him back together, moving him off to the side. Again, we'll compare him with the full combos with him and his Japanese release as well, which actually transitions nicely into the Japanese release. So let me go ahead and grab that. So here's my Japanese Archer Hercules. Yes, I know it is worn, and it's not nearly as good as it used to be. It actually is missing the teeth stickers that would be here, but other than that, most of the stickers are still intact, even after all these years of use and being beaten up and everything. So there you go. And again, in the Japanese release, these are die-cast metal. The bow parts, again, they are die-cast. which is really, really nice. And again, these would be nice and shiny if it was new, but of course, since I used it, it's all dulled out, which does suck, but still, nice layers nonetheless. And on the back of this Hasbro release, I should mention right at the end of this segment here that there is a QR code on the back, so definitely do go ahead and scan that if you want to add Archer Hercules to your game or to the Beyblade Burst app. So they have that. Finally, after that rather lengthy segment, we can actually get on to the Forge Disc, which is Sting. And again, this is the Hypersphere version of Sting. And of course, I already mentioned my initial thoughts in my Ace Dragon review. And if I remember that review correctly, I didn't have many nice things to say about Sting. Besides the fact that it's nice that we got it, but, you know, with the gimmick and everything being gutted, it's not exactly as good as it could have been. But still, it's a nice piece. I'm glad to own it, at least. Because, you know. But like I said, I'm gonna save that rant for if you want to go watch my initial Ace Dragon Hypersphere review. Way back on my birthday, my initial 18th birthday. That was not fun, that review. I did not have fun with that at all. Well, I enjoyed it, but I didn't really. But I had a lot of negatives to say about that one. Anyway, so lastly, we get the driver, which I believe is... what is the name of this driver? Hold on. Prevail. There we go. Prevail Slingshock. So this is a Hasbro exclusive driver, Prevail. This initially came out on Kraken K4, a single release. And then later came on a black Achilles recolor starter. So the gimmick with this one isn't really anything too crazy, except that it has the sharp tip, and it sort of has this, tornado design on it, and it's supposed to have really good stamina on it. Prevail. That's really about it. And of course, with the slingshot gimmick, you twist the driver and it will put it into a flat mode, so hide the cone tip, and then the flat surface will then be raised up, thus making the tip more aggressive. But of course, when you twist it back down, it puts it back into the regular Prevail configuration. So once you put the bay all together, there you have Archer Hercules, or Hercules H4. And again, not bad looking at all. So now for comparisons, if it'll stay. There we go. So now for comparisons, with this guy not flopping around like an absolute goob, here is the original Hasbro release of Hercules H4. And I gotta say, out of the two of them, I would say the original release does better in the decals department, as it has pretty much all the decals applied, minus the ones on the bow portions of the layer. Other than that, I do like the recolor version as well, with the sort of wacky colors on it, but at the same time, it's still missing those teeth parts, which I could see those easily, like, being that maybe they could have done them up with some sort of, like, brown gold fade sort of detail on it or something. I don't really know, but it's kind of weird that they just kind of left the lion head portion plain, minus the eyes. But still, I'm glad that we get a reissue of it, and in a really interesting color choice as well. So, and it's actually for a stock combo, it could have been a lot worse. It could have just been a inverse color or reverse color version of this guy. And though I know I'm making that out to sound like a bad thing, it's not really that much of a bad thing. But also it kind of is, because it's kind of cheap, I guess, in a way, for a recolor box random double pack, I guess. And then here is the Japanese release of Archer Hercules, which is, of course, just named Archer Hercules. And all in all, I'm actually rather surprised at just how powerful Archer Hercules was back in the day. just give you guys an idea of just how powerful Archer Hercules is, even against all three Chosi Bays, Chosi Valkyrie, Chosi Spriggan, and Chosi Achilles. Out of all of them, he can survive all of them without even losing a click of damage on the layer. And that is kind of crazy. Not only that, but they actually banned the Archer Hercules for a long time in competitive tournaments because of just how good it was, both stamina-wise and burst resistance-wise, because it was really, really good. Nowadays, it's outclassed by all kinds of layers now that we're in Sparking and, of course, with GT and everything happening as well. But for a time, Archer Hercules was pretty friggin' broken. But there you go. So there you have the Archer Hercules portion of this double pack. But of course, since it is obviously a double pack, we get a secondary tie-in, which is in the form of Shield Kraken. So let's, I guess, crack on with the review of Shield Kraken, if you pardon the pun, with the chip, which is Kraken. Now, I know it's going to be hard to pick up on the camera, especially with the lack of lighting. But as you guys can see, it is a very nice dark blue color with that bronze gold and that nice red. Now, this Kraken is actually the evolution of the original Kraken K4 that I actually forgot to bring out for this review, but that's not really important as I've already done comparisons with the original Kraken, the original version of this chip, which of course came out with Kraken with Cosmo Kraken K5, which is actually compared the chips of those bays. Now that we're on that subject, so right there on the right is the original Cosmo Kraken release of the Kraken chip. And again, for a Hasbro exclusive design, let alone an evolution, you know what? It's not that bad. I'll be honest, when this initially came out, I loved this design, but now that it's been a little while since I've initially gotten the part, it's okay now. I mean, it's still pretty cool looking. It's just a shame that all this clear plastic sort of hides all the detail, but thankfully this one kind of fixes it, making the detail somewhat a little more visible. But again, for the camera, it's not really picking it up all that well. That and the lighting isn't all that great either, as I just have my normal desk light that's shining in the background there. But still, for what it's worth, you guys get the idea. So that is Kraken. Next up is the layer base, which is Shield. Now, Shield is a rather interesting part because this is a Hasbro exclusive layer base. Yes, this is a Hasbro exclusive design. This was not released by Takara Tomy whatsoever, and it has no correlation with Takara. It's Hasbro's own handiwork. And this layer base, if you notice by the chains and everything, this was initially released with Shield Kirbyus. Because of Kirby's whole shtick with its chains that sort of keep it, at bay, from attacking anybody, because if you know the origins of Kirby's, he's based on the Cerberus, the three-headed guard dog of the underworld of Hades in Greek mythology. So, makes sense. And all in all, I gotta say, it's pretty nice. Performance-wise, I've heard it's not that great, but then again, most defense parts, layers, and layer bases, for that matter, aren't exactly that amazing to begin with. And again, these are defense types after all. They're not attack types or balance types that get, all the good stuff, so... And I would actually bring out the original Shield for comparison, but sadly I still do not have Shield Kirbyus yet, but I can give you guys a bit of a sneak peek of what Shield Kirbyus will actually end up looking like, because I do have Master Kirbyus that I reviewed, many moons ago, which of course does have the GT Kirbyus chips. So if we put the Shield with the Kirbyus, now you guys can get the idea of what Shield Kirbyus will look like. See? That's you kind of get the idea. Just picture this part being more of like a green with the silver, and then picture this with green, with the main sort of spiky parts being green, and then the chains being silver, and this bit being silver. And that's pretty much your shield Kirbyus layer right there. But of course, you know, this obviously does not count as the actual shield Kirbyus, as of course it's not the actual one. This is a repackaging of slash random combo that just happens to have the parts from another Beyblade. So that's just a happy little coincidence. But still, shield, nice base, all in all. So once you put the shield base with Kraken, there you will have Shield Kraken K5 layer right there. And again, not bad looking at all. And on the back, we do have the QR code so that way you guys can scan Shield Kraken into the Beyblade Burst app. So that's always a nice thing as well. But there you go. There you have Shield Kraken. Not a bad looking design by any stretch of the imagination. Next, we get the Forge Disc, which is Hurricane. And I'm not going to really elaborate too much on this one, as I did initially, I did commentate on my initial thoughts on Hurricane with Bushin Ashura / Bushin Ashindra for the Hasbro name. But yeah, I don't have much positives to say about Hurricane, other than it's nice that we got it, but it has a lot of problems. But still, nice that we got a reissue of it anyways. And then lastly, we get the driver with probably one of the more interesting names. This is the Banshee Hypersphere driver. And that's Banshee spelled B-A-N-S-H-E-E. Banshee Hypersphere. So, and it is a really nice color, this one, as I believe it was initially released on a stock combo Beyblade, and I believe that was Marigna M5, if I remember correctly. I forget what disc it came with, but I know it came with a yellow version of this driver. And again, if you want to know my initial thoughts, go watch that review on Marigna M5. And I actually did have relatively positive things to say about it, but still, the Banshee driver, it's nice. It has a pretty, drab aesthetic to it, but it's a pretty good driver for what it's worth. So once you put the Beyblade all together right there, that is what your Shield Kraken will end up looking like. Very, very thin this base is, so take that how you will. So now it's time for some comparisons, and you guys can't see off screen, but I got a bunch of Hypersphere Beyblades to compare this to. We're not going to compare it to all of them, but I gave myself a nice selection to randomly choose from. And our first one that we're going to compare it to is, of course, the initial release of Kraken K5, and that was with Cosmo Kraken K5, which I believe was released in a double pack alongside another tie-in Beyblade. I don't remember, oh god, I don't remember which one it was, but you guys can kind of get the idea if these two would stop rolling around like the clumsy goobers that they are. But there you go. So that is Cosmo Kraken right there. Next we will compare it to you know what? Let's go with Bushin Ashindra himself. Speak of the devil. So there he is. There is Bushin Ashindra / Bushin Ashura right there. And of course, oh god, they start wobbling around like crazy. That's the one thing about doing reviews on Hypersphere Base I don't like, is that they wobble around at the slightest bit of movement. And that's just because of how cone-shaped the drivers are. They just wobble around like no one's business, like nothing else. It's annoying for review, but And you guys saw one of my other reviews with Hypersphere Beyblade that even when I put the turntable on slow mode, they still wobble around like a clumsy mess. So anyway, let's get some underappreciated Hypersphere base in here. Starting off with Judgment Joker J5. As he's not exactly the best Beyblade for Beyblade Burst Hypersphere. I will admit that he does have a lot of problems, but thankfully Pro Series is looking to remedy this with their reissue of Judgment Joker through the Pro Series, and I'm definitely going to be picking that up as it's actually very, very good looking. That, and of course it has all of the gimmicks that this one does not have, which is a nice plus as always. It's always nice when Hasbro decides to, acknowledge, us fans who care about the accuracy of the product with the anime adaptation and with the Japanese adaptation. And if this guy would stay put. Jeez, you know what? I should really just put some sticky tack on here and then just stick them on there so that way they don't wobble around. There's an idea. So I might do that next Hypersphere Beyblade review. I'll just get some sticky tack and I'll just stick them on so that way they'll actually stay properly. But anyway, for our next comparison and our next underappreciated gem of the Hypersphere lineup, I'm going to actually give that to, let's see, Slash Achilles or Sword Achilles. I actually really like the colors on this one, especially for a set that's basically entirely comprised of just random stock combo Beyblades. It's not bad at all. Yeah, the Extreme Challenger, Extreme Challenger battle set did have some areas that were left to be desired, but for a Hasbro battle set to end a series, it wasn't bad at all, and especially for one with a bunch of random combos too. And I'm glad they're still doing that even with the current stadiums that they're doing now, like the Elite Champions Pro set. I'm very pleased to see that they're doing nice, good recolors and random combos that are actually somewhat appealing and somewhat more, and put the wrong Beyblade off to the side for the next comparison. So, can you, sit, proper, sit, there we go, okay. But anyhow, for our next comparison here, I've completely forgot what I was saying, hopefully it'll come back to me in a moment. So, I think that's enough for the underappreciated gems now, just time for some random stuff. So, let's just throw in Cosmo Apocalypse, because why not? And matter of fact, you know what? He's also an underappreciated gem because he came in the Apocalypse Blade set, which, is another launcher set with a somewhat, just nice incentive in the form of a exclusive random combo Beyblade, but still, for what it's worth, Cosmo Apocalypse, not a bad choice. Of course, for Takara, Cosmo Apocalypse is impossible because the Apocalypse chip is only on the Prime Apocalypse layer, which of course would be fused together as one piece for the Japanese release. But of course, Hasbro, with their handiwork with Hypersphere, they actually made it its own separate chip that you can use across multiple different layer bases, which actually makes for some sit properly. Oh God, really? Sit. Kraken, sit. Okay, that'll do. It actually made for a good, what was I saying? Yeah, it actually makes for some interesting combos, unlike the car version, which, of course, you could only do so much because, again, the layer was all used as one piece. So, anyhow, let's end it off with some Hasbro designs, right? Let's finish up with some Hasbro designs. And then maybe I'll just throw in another special someone that I really appreciate from the Hypersphere series. But anyway, let's do Tact Leviathan. And we're going to speed this up a bit just so we can get through these comparisons just a bit quicker. So that way we're not, sort of gestating on these a bit too long, And so there is that comparison. Next we will, oh God, stop flopping around. Jeez, could somebody actually go back and edit in how many times I actually said for the Beyblade to quit flopping around? Because I would love to know how many times I actually said it. So, editors of the YouTube community, please go ahead and actually do that, because that would be amazing if somebody could actually do that. So let's see what other Hasbro designs. I guess this could technically count as a Hasbro design, right? No, never mind. Let's actually go with confirmed Hasbro designs. Solar Sphinx, here we go. And of course he's gonna, come on. Sit properly, please. No, come on. Jeez, they just... You see why it's so hard to review Hypersphere stuff? Hasbro, what were you thinking with this, honestly? Oh god, I'm surprised they're flopping off the thing, but again, you guys can kind of, oh god, get the idea of how these two look together. Again, next time I do a Hypersphere review, I'm getting a piece of sticky tack so that way I can stick them on there so that way they don't flop around like a fish on a water, because that is so annoying. So let's get that. And you guys are probably annoyed by it too, so, you know. Let me know in the comments how much this annoys you, that just flopping around like that. But anyway, next we're going to bring in Monster Ogre, who of course is not going to sit properly as well. Okay, come on. There we go. Okay. Now stay put. So there we have those two together. And again, they actually do look very, very nice for some stock Hasbro designs. Not bad at all. Not, you know, if for Hypersphere anyway. Not great competitively, but they're good. And then lastly, I think we're going to end off with Viper Hydrax. I know, we haven't seen this guy in a while, but here he is, Viper Hydrax. One of the first confirmed Hasbro exclusive designs for Beyblade Burst Hypersphere, Rise Hypersphere. So, I can't complain, you know. He's definitely aged poorly, I would say, amongst the cast of Hypersphere for Hasbro's lineup. But I mean, you know, he's not terrible. I mean, yeah, he's kind of a mediocre, you know, left spin balance type, but I mean, still, it's better than nothing, right? But I think with that, guys, I know with that, guys, that we are going to be done with this review. So that has been this has been my review on, oh god, Beyblade Burst Surge Slingshot plus Hypersphere dual pack review, starring Shield Kraken, K5, and Hercules H4. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoy it, please make sure to drop a like on this video, subscribe if you're new, and ring that notification bell so that way you guys get notified for all my uploads. Larry Squad, and have a good one. But before I head out, yes, if you haven't noticed in the background, there is my Switch Joy-Cons right there. That is my Samus Returns Ancient Ruins Joy-Con grip. I actually quite enjoy that. But anyway, also, actually, on that note, let me know in the comments if you guys want me to do a video just talking about the Switch and how much I enjoy it. Because I would love to do that, because I already did a Valentine's Day special about 3DS and why I enjoy it so much. So why not have a nice follow-up with the Switch and how much I'm enjoying it so far, as I do have very positive things to say about it. But anyway, Larry Squad, and have a good one.